What does this say about YouTube that somehow they know exactly what I'm doing at all times? That within 5 minutes of uploading a video, somehow they know whether or not there might be some copyrighted material on it. By the way, that's not how copyright works. Just so you know, copyright does not mean that under no circumstance can you have an image or likeness of something that exists that is owned on whatever. What it means is you cannot sell the same product over again claiming that you made it or that you own it or whatever. For example, with my recent comparison of Geno 360 to Buffalo Bill, that is not stealing copyrighted material because I am neither selling Silence of the Lambs nor trying to sell the image of Silence of the Lambs. I am not making any money off of it any which way. If I were making money off of it, then you might be able to claim some kind of copyright infringement, but that would still depend on the context of which the video was used. Am I making it out of satire? Am I making a commentary? Am I making criticisms? Things like that. Those kinds of things are legally protected. Not that YouTube gives a shit about the law, until we bust down their door and make them give a shit by arresting their asses and taking them to court. But the fact is, that's how the law works. Even if I were making money off of this, what I do would be considered, under any reasonable circumstance, satire, criticism, commentary, etc. Especially with Geno 360, the way he tucks his dick in and dances around. So, there's really nothing more to discuss here. YouTube is merely flexing their muscles. They think they're big shit just because they own 50% of all video web content on the internet. Yes, they are a monopoly. Yes, they are a pervasive force on the internet. No, I don't give two shits about it. No, I'm not afraid of them. Fuck them. I will be more than willing to take them to court. I will be more than willing to face them face to face and take this to legal discussion. What Mark Anthony says is true. They have some of the best lawyers. They're rich. They're powerful. But that's all the more reason they need to be held accountable. It's ridiculous that somehow, because of their position, we're allowing them to get away with this shit. We're making excuses for them because they have the means to exploit their position. Because they have more than enough money to abuse people. If anything, that means they should come under more scrutiny because they are far more damaging than any lone psychopath, any kind of scumbag ghetto person. That's what gets me about Amerifats. I mean, the British redneck guy Mark Anthony is obviously not American, but he comes from the West. It's white people mentality. This white mentality is that if you're rich and powerful, you can do whatever you want. That somehow you are justified in what you do. But if you're poor and commit a crime, suddenly there is no mercy, there is no accountability, there is no justice, nothing. You will get the most harshest punishment imaginable. The mere facade of a jury and attorneys and everything is just there to circle jerk one another, but in reality, you're gonna get fucked hard. And how you're proud of this is why the world hates you. You wonder why Islamic fundamentalism is on the rise. You wonder why Russia is playing around. You wonder why China is pulling back on the dollar and things like that. It's because of shit like this. It's because you're proud of your evil. It's not the fact that you're evil alone. We all have our vices. We all have done things we're not proud of. But you are proud of it. You are vehemently proud of your own diabolicalness. And that's a unique kind of evil. It takes a special kind of sociopath to actually think that they're in the right for the evil that they do. That they make excuses for their overlords. That they make excuses for their rapists. That's hopeless. That's beyond redemption. There will be nobody on this earth once, shit hits the fan that's gonna, aid you. You're going to burn. You're gonna burn, you're gonna be buried in the ground, and everybody is going to enjoy themselves because of it. And, I'm not just saying that about Americans, clearly, but Americans are the most, what's the word I'm going for, obvious. It seems Americans far and wide revel in that filth, even more so than other Western countries. But clearly it's a Western thing, or else Mark Anthony and shit like that wouldn't be saying the crap that they do. I'm actually surprised Mark Anthony's saying that because England knows better. Not to say England is a fine place to live, it isn't. Yeah, every citizen in the UK has a camera stuck up their asshole somewhere. But the fact is, in the UK, it's the government that does the oppressing, and it's specifically the government. It isn't private corporations picking and choosing. It isn't individuals bullying everybody. It isn't the internet as somehow some magical fairy dust place that doesn't apply to the rest of the world. It's the government. The UK government is strict in upholding its own rule enforcement, and it applies to everybody, even those within the UK government. So whether or not I agree with the laws of the UK government, at least it's being enforced on a reasonable basis. At least it's tyranny that makes sense. Whereas capitalism and the internet does not make sense. It is just random violence and coercion. It has no rhyme or reason. It has no method. It is just madness. It's just pure madness that even those that are in the inner circle, such as myself being a partner, are just as vulnerable as anybody else. Because it's all about the evil. That's all it's about. That's all they care. And they love it. They love it so much that even their own rules don't apply. And you cannot live like that. How are you going to function like that? And the only reason you function this far is because nobody's doing anything about it. But as soon as someone does do something about it, your house of cards is going to fall apart. And I'm going to be glad when that day happens. So, that's really all I have to say here. I have some other things I want to talk about, but for right now, I just want to talk about how, you guys are doomed. Your souls are doomed, your bodies are doomed. Everything about you is just waiting to die. Because you love evil so much, you go ahead and worship that shit. But I guarantee you, you will have nothing waiting for you. You have nothing now, nothing later, nothing to look back on. Your past, present, and future are nothing but despair, because you have chosen the path of the most wretched and most vile and most just unholy of things. And that's why I talk about the things that I do. When I say the darkness, it's a state of mind. I have witnessed real evil. I have felt real evil. And you all have too. And the difference is, you have chosen to use it as a drug of some sort, as an opiate to distract yourselves, whereas I've chosen to do what I can to minimize it and to reduce that level of aura, to reduce that level of, just pervasiveness that is all around me, because I see it everywhere. So, that's really all there is to it. That you are that evil, you love that evil, you feed off of that evil, and you want to be that. And if you can't be that, then you will present yourself as food for it so that it can grow and fester into the world even more, because you are a soulless being that just relishes in demonic force. So, I guess that's it.